Thanks for watching this short video. It focuses on creating estimates within QuickBooks Online Plus, although you can create them in Simple Start and Essentials too. I just feel like if you're doing any kind of light job costing or kind of moving items, you're a contractor, construction, whether you're using a third party or not, and you're moving items from an estimate to an invoice, there's no progress invoicing yet. There is a workaround, so please check out the Stacy Kildall job costing video I have on the product video site. I believe I cover at the very end of that a progress invoicing workaround. But I still think you want to be in Plus because Plus has two-sided items, has the ability to tag a customer or sub-customer on an expense side and pass that through to an invoice. So I still think I'm going to be in Plus for all my videos anyways, as I believe that that's going to be most of your base anyway. But it's still estimates. I'm on the sales page. Your left-hand panel might say home, customers, vendors, transactions, etc. So this would be the sales transaction window, but you might have this updated panel as well. You can also create an estimate from the plus sign, of course, right under customers, estimate. And I'm going to scroll down to one that I have accepted here for Rafal. This is a second story edition. This is actually a remodel. And here you have the action column where I can start the invoice. Now, copying to an invoice would be all or nothing, minus, save for that workaround that I was suggesting you go look at that video. But before we even come here, let's duplicate the tab. And let's go to the settings because there are some settings that impact estimates. So go to the gear icon, accountant settings, and then you'll go down to advanced and click into the automation section. Copy estimates to invoices and make sure that's checked so that you can actually just go to the invoice. From the estimate, there's a start invoice tab, and I'll show you that when we get there. And you can choose, copy accepted estimates only or pending and accepted because there's a way to actually choose a status on an estimate, which is kind of nice as well. So there's this one, and then go to expenses, and you wouldn't really think there is anything there, but we added this recently, copy estimates to purchase orders, which is great. If you have a bunch of non-inventory parts, you just kind of purchase for the job and bring out, and you want to create some purchase orders from a vendor, so you can take to the job. It's a lot better than creating a purchase order from scratch. If you've got 15 or 20 items, definitely copy from an estimate to PO. This is actually a premier level feature in desktop, so we have it in QBO as well. All right, so let's go to this estimate number 503. I'm just going to click on it, and so you can see the available fields. I can add up to 3 custom fields on an estimate, right? Because even though it's non-posting, it's a sales form, right? So estimate, invoice, and sales receipt, I can add 3 custom fields. Not at the item or customer level at this time, but at the form level, certainly. And this is non-posting. I'm not going to hit anything in the ledger at all when I save this. It's just what I would use before I go out and do a gig or as a contract. And here's the copy to invoice, and then you also have this copy to purchase order. Okay, so you can imagine what would happen if you click on those, right? Also, I have, the billing address, shipping address, the estimate date, the expiration date of the estimate. It's already been accepted, but I have different statuses here, accepted by, and then the date they accepted. That might be helpful information because you can add that to a report. The email if you're sending it, and then I got some custom fields with a tracking number, etc. And you can also tag some location and classes as well, and that will pre-fill right into the invoice. When you copy the invoice, which I will, those class and locations will go over there. So it's it's my first document in the line, that I start with Rafal's second story edition, and I have my products and services here, etc. And it's saved, but if I click more, there's no transaction journal, right? No control Y report. Why? Because it's non-posting. But I can also make estimates recurring and even customize it a bit. As I told you, you could add the 3 custom fields here if you're tracking something else, and those would flow over to the invoice as well. The invoice would inherit those fields and what you have in them. Now, before we go to the invoice from the estimate, let's go into review sales, and you have some estimate related reports. I have basically estimates by customer, which could be your estimates by job report. So let's run that. And since it's a detail report showing, the estimate status, accepted date, accepted by, etc., like I said, that would show up there. And you can group by customer or other columns. And I guess we could let's look at last year. I think I have a lot in there. We'll do all dates because I think I have more estimates than that. All these estimates. There's not an estimate to actual report. Look at that job costing video that shows you how to create a budget against your estimate, and then you can run a budget to actual report. And if you click the little baby gear icon, this shows all of the columns I can reorder or add, what have you, like delivery address, typical things you'd want to know. Here's location, as well as I can click customize here and filter this report too, and choose rows and columns here. The detail focused report so you can filter it a lot. And if we go to the other tab, now we're going to copy it to invoice. You just click copy to invoice. Now, if I was going to purchase order, I might as well try that first. Copy to purchase order. So some items on the estimate may not carry over to the purchase order. To include them, edit them and indicate that you purchased them from a vendor. So again, you would need to have the two-sided items there. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And if they're single-sided, then they're not going to go over to the purchase order. So this would be a purchase order. And then I can choose the vendor and then take it from there. And then finally, once it's done, you can click copy to invoice. And now it's going to create an actual posting transaction, the invoice. And notice the fields all float over, whether it's custom field or a location or a class. And when I click save, then this is going to debit AR and credit the revenue accounts linked to those items. Lastly, you can track your estimates from the progress bar when you're on the sales transaction window or even on the customer's list. There'll just be an estimate tab, be the first one, and you can track those and filter, by date range or status or customer. And of course, you can always start an invoice from the action column as well. Have a great day.